Syracuse basketball is receiving crystal ball predictions for a 2024 power forward that would give them their best recruiting class since Syracuse underwent years of lost scholarships, the best since 2016, and the potential to bring Syracuse back recruiting wise to the levels that the entire fan base has been begging for them to get back to. It's your Locked On Syracuse Tuesday, a little later than normal, but we'll still get the ball rolling. Let's get right after it.
Are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? What's happening? Welcome into your Tuesday afternoon episode of Locked On Syracuse. I'm Owen Valentine saying thank you for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen today and every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, for free and available wherever you get podcasts. A big sort of news day in terms of predictions surrounding Syracuse basketball. Crystal balls, predictions coming in the last 24 to 48 hours surrounding four-star, top 35 player, a power forward, Donnie Freeman. He is the number 32 player in the class per 24/7. He is number 27 in their composite. He is the number 4 power forward in the class. He's 6'8", 190, and Syracuse picking up a crystal ball this morning, saying that Donnie Freeman likely to come to Syracuse. The prediction is in. It's from Colby Giacubino. He's 3 for 3 with his 2024 class predictions and 98% all time in terms of prediction accuracy. That's a huge deal. 98% prediction accuracy, and Syracuse got the crystal ball last night. That is massive because Freeman is the type of player that, as I mentioned in the open, as I mentioned leading into this, can bring Syracuse back to the levels that they truly want to be, and where a fan base that has for so long, right, the last 5-10 years yearned to get back to the full season of dominance, where you're having a strong regular season into a tournament, into the NCAA tournament. This could bring Syracuse back. Your 2024 class has Elijah Moore, 4-star guy, 85th in the class. Donnie Freeman is ranked number 32, and this would be the first time since 2016 that Syracuse would have multiple top 100 recruits in its recruiting class. Multiple top 100 recruits for the first time since 2016 when they brought in Tyus Battle, Matt Moyer, and Torian Thompson. Now, unfortunately for Syracuse, they didn't really get to reap the true benefits of that. Matt Moyer didn't quite have the success that you thought he might have and transferred out. Torian Thompson also transferring out for different reasons, right? So you didn't quite get the true success from that threshold. Tyus with a good career, but you didn't get that. And you have the potential for it now that you've got that lingering crystal ball with regards to Donnie Freeman on the 24/7 site. And also, they're not the only ones throwing their name out in the open with regards to Donnie Freeman and a few predictions coming in, as both analysts that have given a prediction on Donnie Freeman over at Rivals, him going to Syracuse, is from Richard Schneiderite and Andrew Barth, both of which came in yesterday evening. So it seems like something happened in terms of Donnie Freeman's context, in terms of his mentality, in terms of something that sparked all three of these guys in a 12-hour span to put a crystal ball in on Donnie Freeman, who prior to this had no crystal balls or no predictions on either Rivals or 24/7. Now, are they always correct? No. Am I setting it in stone that Donnie Freeman is coming to Syracuse? Also, no. But is this a huge deal in terms of potential, in terms of getting 3 nods in a 12-hour span typically is telling you that some sort of bell is going off or alarm is sounding, that this really could happen. And that is tremendously important for Syracuse. We talk so many times about recruiting and how it's been difficult in the last sort of however many years since you had the Jim Boeheim issues in terms of the lost wins, in terms of losing 3 scholarships a year for 4 seasons. And the last class where you had 2 top 100 players was in the early goings of that, scholarship loss. And you haven't been able to get to that threshold since it happened. And leading up to it, you did it 11 out of 12 years to get you to that point. You did it from 2005 to 2016, bringing in multiple top 100 recruits every single season, with the only one where you didn't do that being with Brandon Trish as the lone recruit in the 2009 class. This is something that you've wanted for years to get back to, and a crystal ball puts you in the path to be able to pull that off. Freeman is a really, really good player. Had a good weekend, drawn a lot of attention. Top tier player. There's not, he's fading a little bit ranking wise on rivals, but everywhere else, his ranking seems to be steadily increasing or has been steadily increasing because this is the type of player that can come in and be a tremendous impact guy. I look at him build wise right now. He's, I believe, 6'8, 180, 190, 6'8, 190, I think. He's got that Marek Dolezaj type build. And the thing that he adds to it on top of this, and Marek Dolezaj, everyone loved. I mean, where is he? He is hidden somewhere. Oh, right here. Marek Dolezaj. We love him, right? Why wouldn't you love him? Hustle guy, doing everything he humanly possibly could have done for Syracuse to win. Playing the 5, playing the 4, playing the 3 if he needed to. He would have played the point guard if you asked him to. Hustling, diving on loose balls. They've got that same build. And I think Freeman, in terms of skill, very much can surpass or might already be in a conversation to have been surpassing what Marek can do skill-wise in the long run. That is the type of player you are looking at in Donnie Freeman. He is sought after. He's a guy that people want. He is a conversation that is exciting to have because of how important he can be to what you are looking at and what you are trying to do in year one under Adrian Autry and trying to put together the best possible team that you can. And this is something that you've been eagerly awaiting, and it might actually be here for Syracuse. It might actually be here. And I mean, if you look at Mike McAllister put up an article about him about a month ago, or a little less than a month ago at this point, talking about how Freeman feels like he fits with the game plan that Autry is presenting, looking for versatile forwards that can move and go in terms of pace. And he mentioned it. He had been to campus recently, having a lot of conversations recently. It goes a long way. And this is something that you didn't always have in terms of Freeman. His, I believe, top 5 had already been set. And Syracuse made a late push and found their way into that conversation. And this is not, something that you were not a perennial powerhouse. That's a wrong word. This is not something that you were in the whole time. And some recent moves, some recent conversations have sort of jumped you back into this conversation that you weren't a part of 3, 4, how many weeks ago? 5 weeks ago at this point in time. This is gigantic because it is showing you what Syracuse has been able to do since Boeheim's retirement / exit and since Adrian Autry has taken over. Okay. Some other offers in here have to do with Alabama, with Texas, things of that nature. But this is a guy that is a big time difference maker. And if you watch his game, he plays comfortably, he plays confidently, can get out and move, can shoot the ball if he needs to, can get up and elevate. This is the type of forward that you bring in, and respectfully to who Syracuse has on the roster right now, but this is the type of player that you bring in and it can immediately give A year 4, when he gets here, a year 4, Benny Williams, a little bit of run. A year 3, Chris Bell, Justin Taylor, a little bit of run in terms of pushing for their minutes and taking a chunk. That is the caliber player you are looking at in Donnie Freeman. And if you are Benny Williams, if you are Malik Brown, if you are Justin Taylor, if you are Chris Bell, this is a guy that be a little worried about, even as veteran players, because that is the type of caliber he is. When you look at recruiting recently, it is interesting. Benny was also the number 32 player in the country under 24/7's thoughts in their rankings. And now you got Donnie Freeman, also ranked 32 in 24/7, picking up a crystal ball from a guy that 49 out of 50 times is correct. That's a big deal. Plus 2 more predictions from rivals. That was a huge, huge day for Syracuse basketball. Donnie Freeman could complete the best recruiting class for Syracuse in 7 or 8 years without question. We'll take another break because Syracuse putting another offer out into the open over the weekend, and it is because of a stud performance at the Nike EYBL first stop of the season down in Atlanta. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk about FanDuel, and we'll dive right into that. Grand slams, no-hitters, double plays, they're all back, and there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. Pick an Aaron Judge home run. Throw Garrett Cole over on his strikeouts. Craft yourself a same-game parlay. Throw in an over. Throw in a run line. And boost up those odds. Don't miss your chance to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. If you are not in the basketball mood right now, and we've been talking a lot of basketball because that's been where the big conversations are, but if you're looking for a little bit in terms of your NFL draft fill, we're only 2 days away from day 1 of the NFL draft, and Locked On's NFL mock draft special is here and bigger than ever. Follow along all 32 teams' first pick in a 6-episode ultimate mock draft experience only Locked On can deliver. All episodes are available now on Locked On Draft or Locked On NFL Draft on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. So we got a lot to talk about. We just broke down Donnie Freeman, who eyes are saying, predictions are pointing, things are rumbling. The coffee's in the pot. It's percolating. Could very well become the second addition to Syracuse's already solid 2024 class. Donnie Freeman could join Elijah Moore and bring Syracuse back to the recruiting levels that they once were doing year after 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 year. 12 times in a row they were at this level, getting you up to 2016. And it wasn't like that for the last few years. And it seems that this could be the breakthrough recruit that gets Syracuse, when paired up with Elijah Moore, back to that level. It's a big deal. And some more rumblings in the 2024 class, this time with regards to a point guard, 3-star guy or a 4-star guy, depending on where you look. But Syracuse offers 2024 Mikey Williams. It's a 6'3" point guard. He's a 3-star on some sites, a 4-star on another site or two. He's right on that sort of fringe at this point, and he has got a lot of potential. And I think those rankings are going to rise almost immediately because this man had the best weekend in Nike's EYBL session. He led the session in scoring in Atlanta with over 25 points per game. Shot lights out, over 50% from 3 in the tournament, almost 50% from the field in the tournament. He was absolutely electric. And in the last 48 hours has drawn so many looks, so many additional eyes. And that is the type of impact that strong performances at these events can really have for you because he is skyrocketing in terms of mentalities, in terms of offers, in terms of so much at this point in time, all off of one really, really successful weekend. 18 hours ago, Syracuse offered. 18 hours ago, Providence offered. He went off. Those are his two biggest offers. 22 hours ago, Arizona State offered. 23 hours ago, Colorado State offered, right? This is all in a 24-hour span. One day ago, Washington State offered. He is skyrocketing in terms of offers. 2 days ago, Illinois offered. That's where O'Shea Brissett went. Maybe we'll chat about that a little bit at the end. It's not O'Shea Brissett. What am I thinking? Quincy Guerrier. That's where Quincy Guerrier just transferred to. In 2 days, picking up 5 big-time offers based on his performance at the first session of the Nike EYBL. He was absolutely incredible. He is a California native, played up in Denver this past season. This is the type of guy that I think is the perfect supplementary player to a recruiting class. You look at this point in time, right? You have one recruit coming in 2023 and William Patterson. If you missed that interview from last week, check it out. He's absolutely electric. I am not, bull crapping you by any means. Go watch that. It's an unbelievable episode. One of my favorite ones that I've done since taking over. Really, really fun. But that's one player. You brought 6 guys in last year. You got one guy in the 2024 class. A potential with Donnie Freeman for a second guy. This is Mikey Lewis, the perfect supplementary player to bring in the class of 2024. You look at realistically. Say Judah Mintz comes back. I don't think anyone's telling you he's coming back for 3 more years. If he comes back, it's for 1 year. JJ Starling on this roster. He's in there. Does he go to the NBA at some point? Maybe. Got the potential, got the ceiling for it. But at this point, you're a 3-star guy outside the top 100 in terms of recruiting and recruits in the 24 class. This is the perfect guy to bring in and have him do maybe a year, maybe 2 years behind JJ. And that way, year 3, year 4, this is the type of guy with a skill set to absolutely dominate. And I don't think he is the type of player that wants to come in here for minuscule minutes. And I don't think that's what he would get. But at this point in time, I think he is perfect to be the number 3 guy in that class. You bring in Freeman as the number 1. You bring in Moore as the number 2 guy. The third guy, you probably want a third. I'd be okay with a third. This is pure perfection. To come in as a guy that can do those reserve guard minutes, sub in at the 1, maybe play a little bit of 2 if you need to, or shift JJ to the 2 and play a little bit of the 1. Mix things up in that capacity and be a year 3, year 4 type player where you can really boost onto the scene. Not a guard comparison, but what you saw with Jesse Edwards, right? Years 1 and 2 playing those supplementary minutes. I think this is a guy that could play even more than Jesse did freshman and sophomore year. But years 3 and 4, being that guy and elevating to that level definitely seems feasible for this type of player and this skill set. I was watching his highlights from the past weekend. I'll share a few of those on Twitter, maybe if I can get a look at him. He plays confident, shoots the ball really, really well, can get to the rim if he needs to. I love his vision. He is so just purely athletic. Gets down the floor really, really effectively and sees the floor really well, which allows him to distribute and allows other players on his team to benefit as well. Mike McAllister pointed it out in an article talking about the offer that he got from Brendan Strawn in this one and just sort of the way he plays. And he pointed it out saying he led the EYBL in scoring with over 25 points per game. But typically when you see that, you assume he's just chucking and he's just throwing up shot after shot. And that wasn't the case. The efficiency is what really stood out. The ability to score, but not force things and not be an issue for your team offensively. I love what I saw from him in the limited clips that are, available and that I've been able to watch so far since hearing this news, less than a day ago at this point in time, to be able to bring him in as the third guy in this class. And obviously, I'm speaking very optimistically, right? This is an offer that Syracuse put out. It wasn't a top 5 they made. It wasn't a top 10. It wasn't a crystal ball. This is Syracuse putting out an offer to Mikey Lewis. But if things work out, Freeman, Lewis, Moore would be an absolutely tremendous trio to take on the 2024 class for Syracuse. And I think that is probably a top 20 recruiting class in the country without much contesting. And Syracuse has not, had a top 20 recruiting class in a little bit of time. 22 this past season in the 2022 class, courtesy of volume more than anything. But they have not really been a top 20 recruiting team in a little bit of time. So we'll see where that goes. But this is a lot of potential. The things, as I said, the coffee's in the pot. It's starting to percolate. And we are excited to see where things go from here. A lot to continue talking about. What else you want to talk about? Let me know. Tweet at me at LO_Syracuse. Pitch episode ideas. If you have a topic that I've missed, a player that I looked over, something that we talked about a while ago but want to get back to, let me know on Twitter. The DMs are open. You feel free to tweet at me. Comment over on YouTube. Let me know things that you want to talk about in that capacity. I want to talk about what you want to talk about. Bring in the conversation, even if it's just for 4 or 5 minutes to close out an episode, will be a really, really good way to help me and way to make sure that what you want to hear and what you're interested in is being covered. That'll do it for today. A bit of a shorter episode, talking Donnie Freeman, talking Mikey Lewis. A lot of potential starting to come to the forefront for Syracuse's 2024 class, and you have to be incredibly pleased with what you have seen from Adrian Autry in his first 2 months in Orange. It is something truly special in terms of recruiting impacts, in terms of bringing in Brendan Strawn, in terms of Strawn's recruiting ties. I think the coolest thing about Mikey Lewis is, you got a lot of pull you're bringing in the conversation. Lewis shouts out Strawn in his tweet announcing the offer. And this isn't a DMV player, right? This is not a guy in Strawn's wheelhouse. This is a West Coast player born in California, playing in Denver, that Syracuse is in context with. So that is a stretch in terms of where your hub is recruiting-wise right now and what you're trying to establish as your recruiting hub. But I think that they're doing a tremendous job as they get out on the recruiting trails and continue to be a presence as often as they possibly can, which with young players goes such a long way. And I hope it continues to happen. So we'll wrap up our Tuesday episode at that. I'm Owen Valentine. Thanks for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen today and every day, free and available wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Tomorrow, maybe we'll do a mailbag. I'm not entirely positive what we will take a look at, but come back. It'll be a good one. I'm excited. These are the episodes where you got to let the creative juices flow a little bit because we haven't had truly breaking news. Wednesday, Women's Lax ACC tournament opener, playing Virginia Tech. Check that out. We'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow, I'm sure, to preview that just a pinch as they head into the ACC tournament as well. But until then, I'm Owen. I will see you when that is, probably 11 o'clock tomorrow, most likely. If I were to predict, I'll see you at 11 tomorrow. Have a good one. Be kind. Make somebody smile today. And take it easy. Peace.